Hey everyone, it's me, Matt. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all had another wonderful week, and I hope you're ready to garden with me today in part two of my side yard transformation project. So in today's video, we're going to be planting up my new side yard garden area with 8 different varieties of Florida native wildflowers, and I can't wait to show you everything I picked out for the space. So let's head over to my side yard and we'll get started. So here's my side yard area. If you caught last week's video, then you know I completely cleared and prepped this space. I pulled out a ton of invasive sword ferns and weeds, uncovering my low wooden fence. I also removed some oak tree suckers and applied sucker punch so they won't come back. It was a ton of work prepping this space, but I'm happy to reclaim this area of my yard, and I'm really excited about turning it into a native wildflower garden. So earlier this week, my dad was in town from California and we took a trip out to Green Owl Gardens. It's a plant nursery in Groveland, Florida, specializing in Florida wildflowers and native plants. They mainly focus on upland plant species. They've got 8 acres under production, featuring over 150 species of native plants. The best part, all of their plants are grown without the use of pesticides with the goal of preserving nature. And in addition to selling native plants, they also offer landscape design and maintenance services. You can see I didn't hold back. I picked up a ton of beautiful plants while we were there. Overall, native plants make a great addition to any landscape. There's a bunch of reasons why you should consider them for your garden, with the main reason being that they support your local ecosystem. About a year ago, I actually did a whole video on my top reasons to consider native plants for your yard. There's a ton of useful information in that video, and I'll make sure to link it in the video description for reference. So like I said, I picked up all these plants a few days ago. In total, there's 8 different varieties. 7 came from Green Owl Gardens, and I picked up an 8th variety at another independent garden center really close to my house in downtown Orlando. They're all so beautiful, and I can't wait to get them in the ground. But first, I wanted to quickly give you some info on all of these plants. So the first plant variety I've got here are these Stokes asters. Right away, you'll notice their beautiful bluish-purple blooms. They're a clumping evergreen perennial that'll grow 18 inches tall. They like full sun to part shade. They bloom spring through fall, and they're a great source of nectar for bees and butterflies. The second plant variety I picked up is this small flowering shrub called St. Andrew's Cross. It's got an upright, open growth habit and can get as big as 4 feet by 4 feet. It also likes full sun to part shade. It's evergreen and has beautiful yellow blooms almost all year long, and it's attractive to bees, butterflies, and even birds. The third plant variety I picked up are these Rudbeckia plants. This is a North Florida ecotype with larger blooms than the traditional Rudbeckia found throughout most of Florida. These plants can grow 1 to 3 feet tall. They prefer full sun in the more northern regions of Florida, but appreciate part sun in the central and South Florida regions. They're considered a short-lived perennial, typically lasting 3 to 5 years, but they can readily self-seed. They bloom spring through fall, and they're a great source of nectar for a variety of pollinators. The fourth plant variety I've got here are these pink beard tongues. Their foliage is low growing, but their bloom stalks reach 1 to 3 feet tall. They prefer full sun but tolerate some shade. They're a great nectar source for bees and butterflies, with each flower stalk producing dozens of soft pink blooms from spring through fall. Moving along, the fifth plant variety I picked up is this wild petunia plant. This is a perennial plant that likes full sun to part shade. It grows 12 inches tall and spreads easily through self-seeding. It blooms spring through fall, but it can die back during the hot summer months when it's planted in full sun areas. But with that said, it is quick to return once the temperatures start to cool off. This plant is also the host plant for the buckeye butterfly. The sixth plant variety I picked up is this calamint plant. This is a small, cold-hardy, perennial mounding shrub that grows up to 2 feet tall and wide. It likes full sun to part shade areas, and it blooms year-round with these beautiful whitish lavender flowers that provide nectar for a variety of pollinators, including bees and butterflies. The seventh plant variety I picked up are these purple coneflowers. Clearly these plants aren't in bloom right now, but I did see some blooming in the display garden at Green Owl Gardens. These plants can grow 3 to 5 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide. They're another short-lived perennial that lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 years. They bloom spring through fall with showy pinkish-purple blooms. Their flowers attract bees and butterflies, and their dried seed heads are a good source of food for a variety of birds. Alright, so we've reached the last plant variety for my native wildflower garden. This plant is a purple passion flower. This is actually the plant I picked up from the garden center about a mile from my house. It's a climbing perennial vine that blooms spring through fall with these exotic purple blooms. It likes full sun, and its vines can reach 10 to 15 feet in length, making it a perfect plant for pergolas, trellises, and fences. The passion flower plant can also produce edible fruit, and it attracts a variety of pollinators, and it's also the host plant for the Gulf fritillary butterfly. So overall, I think I've got a great combination of plants here, and I can't wait to get them in the ground. So let's get to planting. There we go, all done. My new native wildflower garden is all planted and watered in. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think this is such a beautiful combination of plants. All the yellows, purples, and pinks look so good together. You'll also notice I did leave the metal pole from my old chain link fence. It's buried deep, and I didn't have it in me to dig it out today, especially after I dug out all this concrete while planting the calumet. So taking a step back, I think this turned out so great, and I'm really happy with the end result. As far as watering goes, this area isn't hooked up to my irrigation system. I'll hand water these plants every couple of days until they become more established, but once they're established, they won't need any supplemental water since these native plants are adapted to the rainfall patterns and soil and moisture conditions in my area. With that said, it does help if you add organic mulch like pine needles or pine bark nuggets. The mulch helps lock moisture into the soil. You'll notice I use the existing pine needles in this area as mulch. I've got a very large pine tree just above this garden bed, so I'll have an endless supply of pine needle mulch for this space. As the pine needles break down, they'll enrich the soil as they decompose, releasing organic matter into the soil, improving the soil structure, reducing the need for supplemental fertilizers. When it comes to pest control in this new garden bed space, I proactively sprinkled some Captain Jack's bug and slug killer around all the plants. It's an organic product that helps suppress garden pests for up to 4 weeks. I love this stuff, it works great, and it's safe to use around people and pets. So again, I'm so happy with how this entire space came together. It really has transformed from an overgrown mess into a beautiful native wildflower garden, and I know all of the birds, bees, and butterflies are definitely going to appreciate it too. So I'm a sweaty mess. I need to go inside and cool off, but I hope you enjoyed this side yard transformation project. I hope I've inspired you to introduce some native plants to your yard, maybe even plant up your own native wildflower garden too. Remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can hang out with me in future videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.